Hi everybody, welcome to Ecstasy Crafts. I'm excited to be here again today to share an Eclipse card with everybody. I've always wanted to do one of these, and I came across these beautiful foxglove stamps, and I thought, you know what, these would be a really nice way to start and introduce an Eclipse class to everybody. So it's very straightforward, but it's going to give you the concept of how you can achieve this, and then the world's your oyster and you can move on and get very creative with this new technique. So in your kit, you will have received your white cardstock, this beautiful lilac cardstock, a die cut, a stamp, and your instructions. I think I may have missed sending out some instructions in a couple of kits. So they will, if you're missing them, reach out and we will email those to you. And if you haven't already received them. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Free up my space here. All right. Oh, I need my instructions for measurements. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut our card base. This is a Slimline card base, and it will measure, finished card size is 8.5 by 3 7/8. So what you need to do with your white cardstock, we need to cut one piece so it measures 7 3/4 by 8.5. So, of course, I've already done this, and then we are going to score it, and this will give us our card base, and we are going to score at 3 7/8. So that's the 8.5, that's the length. So I want this to be 7 3/4, and half of that is going to be 3 7/8. So right over here, score that. Make sure that lines up. Sometimes even with a scoreboard, things don't quite line up very well. I find the best thing to do is work with it because every scoreboard is slightly different. So you probably can't see this on camera, but I have a little wee bit of an overhang, so I'm going to trim that off so that my card is nice and even front and back. Like I said, you can't see this on camera, but I'm going to do this. There we go. Okay. So now I've got that all nice and even. All right. And we're going to put that off to the side for now. So that's our card base done. Next thing you're going to do is you will take your largest rectangle, so right here, the biggest outside edge, and we are going to cut our mauve paper, our lilac paper with that. All right. Give me a moment while I cut this. There we go. So these nesting dies are gorgeous because they have the nice stitched edge on them, so you end up with a really beautiful stitched edge. I just love how that gives it a nice finish. And then you're going to take the second largest rectangle. So you've put the first one back. Now we're going to use the next one in, and we're going to cut a piece of white cardstock with this one. go. So now we have the white. So these will all line up nicely. And this will fit onto your card base like that. So that's going to be the end result when we're done. But what we want to do now is we're going to use this cut one that the white that we have just finished. And we're going to take the card base and the lilac one. We're going to put that off to the side for now, because what we want to do now on this piece is we're going to stamp our stamp. So I can put the die cut away for now. Get out my stamping platform. Put this in place. Go with our stamp. So you'll notice there's a couple of cute little bees. There's one actually attached to the main stamp, and then there's a couple other bees as well. Now, I did put this at an angle. Just like that. And then the two remaining bees, let's see if I can get that to focus. You'll see this guy's flying away. I used this one in my image as well. You can use both if you want, totally up to you, but I like this little guy that's flying towards us. And I did place him approximately right there on my card. I'm going to move this over a little bit more. And I'll show you why we're positioning like this. We're going to use the largest circle. These are all the same. They're triplicates of the same. So any one of those will work. And I want to try to get him in here. So I want him down farther. I want him down about here. And that is just the way I did it. You can do it however you please. He could be up here, whatever. I just try to duplicate as close as I can for you guys when from the original cards, so you guys can kind of look at the picture and follow along. All right, so I've got him in position where I want to stamp him. So whatever coloring medium you're using, make sure that your black ink that you stamp with is appropriate for it. I will be using a watercolor medium. I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz watercolor pencil crayons for this. Make sure this is all down nice. I'm going to stamp it one more time. So I get a nice crisp finish here. There we go. That's better. All right. So that's all I need for stamping. Move that. I'm done with my stamping platform now. And my stamps. Okay. I'm just going to give that a chance to dry. So that's pretty close to placement from my original card that I did. I'll let that dry. And then we're going to start coloring. All right. Now, my colors might not be exactly the same as they were on the first one because I did not write down what colors I used. Silly me. But what I need is, or what I want a couple of shades of green. I need a yellow and a brown or a black. And I need a couple of shades of a lilac color. Or you could do them blue. It's pink. It's up to you. But your accessories, your paper is a lilac color to coordinate. So maybe for this time around you can do it in these colors, and next time you can choose your own colors. I'm just looking here. So I think I'm going to use mustard seed for the bees, and some black soot for the bees as well. And then, what color do I have? Dusty Concord. Dusty Concord. What else do I have here? I think I'll use Wilted Violet. That'll give me 2 shades of the purple. And then Shabby Shutters and Mowed Lawn. Those will be my greens. All right. So that's all I need for my pencils. Now I'm going to do the bumblebees last. There is one little bee that is hidden in here. And I will show it to you. I'm just looking. I don't have, use this for my poker. When I first did this card, I didn't recognize this little guy as a bee, and I colored his wings green. So he is right here. Let me pick this up. Bring that a little closer, right here. So this is a little bee right here. You've got a bee here, and then this bee here. So there's 3 in total. Everything else is a combination of leaf and flower. Maybe I will color the bee first, because you know what? That will eliminate any questions about what's bee and what's not bee, and I can't make a mistake again. So I'm going to start with the black soot and the mustard seed. And here's how I like to use the watercolor pencils. I love these paintbrushes that hold the water. And then I can get my concentrate off the tip of the pencil, like this. I can color my bee in. Not a lot to color on this guy, just a little hint of color in here. You can do this in layers. All right, so there's my yellow on my bees. I can always come back and add more if I want to. Just gonna get a wipe to clean up. Get rid of the excess yellow. Now I'm going to move on to the black soot. And I will add that. Again, I'm just going to draw the color off the tip of the pencil. Love spring after a long winter, having all the spring flowers start to bloom. And this just reminds me, when I designed this card, how much I was missing my gardens. There we go. All right, bees aren't very big. Just cleaning up the mess I made off camera there. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, which color will I use first? I'm going to start with, you can see the difference in the colors. So I've got a nice bright purple, and then I have a very muted deep purple. I'm going to start with the deepest purple, and I'm going to do that up around where the flower fastens to the plant, because that's where you're going to get the deepest color. And then as it opens, it gets lighter. All right, glass mats are beautiful for this. So now I'm just going to fill in just those little bits up really near the top of each one of these buds. If you haven't tried watercolor pencil crayons, you should give them a shot. I love watercolor, but I'm not very good at it. And this allows me to watercolor without having to be really good at it. Gives me an opportunity to play around with it. The hardest part about this is figuring out what is a leaf and what is a flower bud. Oh, and I did miss one color. I need a stem color. I might be able to use the greens I have for this. All right, so now I'll switch over to my other purple. You can see this is a well-loved color. The tip is very wore down from doing this. It's a very nice purple. All right. Now I'm going to come back in, fill these in with the lighter purple. And don't be afraid if the colors run together. That's better that way. You'll get a smoother transition into the two colors. When you get down to this part, careful I don't get that in there. So this is the inside of the flower. We do want to leave a little bit of it white. You don't need to color the whole thing. So you just want a little bit of the inside. Let me show you the finished card. And you can see I've left some white areas in there. The flower is paler on the inside than it is on the outside. So we'll leave a little bit of that. So we're just going to basically go around the rim and leave the inside white. So your cardstock. You can't go back over it once you've colored it, unless you have like a white acrylic paint pen or something. But then you're going to cover up a lot of the dots. But don't stress if you do that. If you cover up more than you want, you can touch it up, like I said, with an acrylic paint marker, and then you just go in over top with and accentuate some of the black dots that you covered up. I love painting flowers. I love my gardens. And I like painting flowers because I can actually visualize them and how the sun would hit them. So if you're ever wondering about how to color your flowers, if you're painting or coloring with pencil crayons, anything like that, take a walk out in some gardens and have a look. See how the sun hits them. That will help you with where to leave some shine and light. Okay, I think I've got all the flowers done there. I'm happy with the blending. Touch this up a little bit more up top here. So you just want a little bit of the dark up there because you're going to pull it down with your lighter color as the water reactivates it, pulls it back down in. And with watercolors, you can go back in after it's dry and you can add layers, but you need to let it dry between applications or it just, all it does is muddy it up, if that makes sense. All right, so that's it for my purples. Just cleaning my brush. Start with a fresh cloth here. Now I'm going to start with my greens. I'm going to start with my lightest green first. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to start with my dark, because then I'll pull that dark. Same thing I did with the purples. I'm going to come in with the dark. It's going to be darkest where the stem joins and in the vein areas. And then it'll lighten as it goes to the edges. Just going to get a little bit of this green down onto my gloss mat here. All right. So just going to follow the veins. Line them in first, and then I'll just add some of the darker green. I think I'll use this darker green for the stem. hard to talk and paint at the same time, concentrating. I'll come in and catch some of these leaves here too. I'm going to come back and add some veins to that one. I think it would warrant having them there. I can see some purple that I've missed too. I'll come back and get that. It's hard when you're working on this to see all the detail, and once you start coloring it in, you go, oh. All right, this one here is the Shabby Shutters. So what you want to do is draw the color out, the dark color, so it blends in. So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is color in the blank spaces with the Shabby Shutters, the lighter green, and then I'll go back and I'll work the darker, the first color green, and I'll draw it out a little bit just to soften that line between the two colors, so you can see how I've blended that. And then I'll just fill in the other ones with the other green with the Shabby Shutters. All right, now I've got, that's all the green. I think I got it all. And then what I want to do is come back in with the purple. Just need to get rid of the green off my brush. I don't need a lot, and I don't want it super concentrated. And I've got a couple little gaps in here I'm going to fill in that I feel like they should be purple, not green. There we go. All right. So that's it for coloring. So while we let that dry, what we're going to do is work on the sentiment and our bows, because what we have to do with this is we're going to die cut. But I want it to dry a little bit before I die cut it. I'm just going to dry my workstation. So you did not receive a sentiment in your package that wasn't included. So just find your sentiment. This is how I like to do it. I've got my sentiment, a piece of the background color, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that on. And then I will trim it out. Take my little cutter. So I like to do it like this, because then I can make a decision on how big I want my border. And then I will trim it down. I'm going to trim just a little bit more off that. There, much better. All right. Then what I did was I put foam, a strip here and a strip here, and leave a gap in the middle. Here I am getting my ribbon. I said foam, didn't I? So because I want to leave a gap in the middle, I'm going to use narrower foam. So one foam strip down the length here. Oh, wait a minute. Lost my scissors for a moment. And then another one on the other side. Just like that. I don't need that anymore. I'll put it back on here and use it for later, for another project. Now, normally I would use double-sided tape for this, but it appears that I don't have any in this studio at the moment. So I'm going to use glue, but I would prefer to do this with double-sided tape. So what I would normally do is calculate, because I want it to stick out both ends. And if I would put a piece of double-sided tape down there, but because I don't have it, I'm just going to use some glue. I find ribbon absorbs the glue and doesn't hold as nicely as double-sided tape does. It takes longer to adhere, and it just does not hold very well. And then you can just double this back in. So that you have some sticking out the other end. So just like that. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with some tape because that was just frustrating. All right. So, piece of double-sided tape. Toss it down in the middle here. Peel the backing off. Take your take your ribbon and stick it down to the double-sided tape. So it looks like this. And then we're going to take another piece of double-sided tape and we're going to stick it in the exact same location, but it's going to be on top of the ribbon. So just like this. Peel that off. And then stick your ribbon down. Don't worry, it does not have to be tidy because you're not going to see it, because this is the side you're going to see. And then there's still some left over for here, for the other side. And we're going to put that down. I'll trim the extra off. And there you go. You can do a little maneuvering with it. But now you've got that backing piece of ribbon, and then we'll just do a bow at the end and add that. So you can see. I did make this one shorter than this one, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm just going to check now. This is good and dry. So now, remember I said you're going to take the largest circle. So you've got 3 sets of circles. They're all identical. Just take one of the largest one, and we are going to find where we want to die cut this. So I want to try and get it in between these 2 bees and with that guy in it as well. So just like that. Use some low-tack tape. Like that. And I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. So then this is what we've ended up with. There we go. So now you've got this. Now you're going to get your base out. We're going to adhere this to your card base, center it all around. I'm using glue. You can use double-sided tape, whatever you like to use. I love the Barely Art glue. That's my fave. All right. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, look at that, I got a little bit of ink or something on there. I'll have to cover that with a gem or something. So this is how I like to line these up. I will put some glue on the back of this. I'm going to center this exactly where I want it. But right now, all I'm gluing down is the circle portion, this part here. The rest of this, we will foam tab this up. This gets glued flat. So you want to make sure you've got this where you want it. And that way, you can line up. There we go. All my lines join. Then you lift this. Now we're going to take foam and we're going to foam the back of this because it is raised up. You can see it's raised and this is glued flat. I like the hunky-dory foam strips. These are the 2 mils. The long strips come in 2 sizes, a narrow and a wide on each sheet. They cut really nice and they're flexible so you can round corners with them instead of cutting. But they do cut too, so. Here. And then I'll run another one down here. I'm going to cut this one in half, approximately. And then I'll put one right here and one right here. And that should provide more than enough support. There we go. I know you're not going to be able to see the entire thing on camera, but I need to get my head right over it without blocking your view. There we go. Now you can put your sentiment on. this up higher, just to cover, just enough to cover the bottom of the flowers. I couldn't find the same gems that I used, so I'm just going to substitute. Oop, get back on there. Like that. I usually have a bow maker in here, but again, we just had our big open house, so it probably got used for demos in the open house. So you're going to see me struggle to make a bow. Not too bad. Not as nice as with the bow maker. But it's still not bad. There we go. Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. But anyway, you guys get the idea. You get the idea that I can't make bows without a bow maker. It's pretty wonky. I'll swap it out after the fact. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make an Eclipse card. You can do multiple layers. You can do different size cards. It's all about putting your image on, die cutting, and layering it back in so your image stays intact. So when you look at it, your image is just as it was when you stamped it on flat paper. It adds a completely new dimension to your cards. I've seen some really, really gorgeous Eclipse cards. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I look really forward to seeing you at next month's class. I've got some exciting stuff. It's on the website now, and we're going to learn how to mix patterned papers together. Everybody have a great day, and I'll see you next month. Bye now.